How's it going, everyone? So I wanted to talk very quickly about the Bundy ranch situation that's happened in Nevada and is still probably going to continue. If you're not familiar with it, just Google the information about it. The short of it is that there is a gentleman whose family has been grazing cattle for over 100 years on land that includes what is known as federal territory, and the core contention is that this man's family had homesteaded this area for many years, well before new federal agencies were created that tried to regulate him out. And the potential cronyism that has ensued with Senator Reid and his family dealing with, deals trying to get development in there. Um, it could play a part in this, but the core is that this is a person who has had uh, a long time uh, presence in an area grazing cattle, and the government just wants to try to use everything it can to take away um, his ability to do that without paying them huge sums of money. And the core issue that people need to take away from this is the fallacy and farce of public land when it comes to government. And that's the real issue. The real issue is that it is a joke when people try to pretend like there's such a thing as public good or public land when it comes to the government, because the government places these lands under great restrictions, and the restrictions that we may see may include time and place things, where government limits people from uh, staying or camping in certain areas, or having pets or this or that. It may include totally keeping people out of it, calling something a preserve, or saying, something with the Endangered Species Act in the 1970s that somebody can't, do anything there because it might destroy the animals. Even though the government has been shown to destroy animals themselves or to ruin habitats in their experiments, they take this land that's supposedly the people's and keep the people from being able to use it. And the insanity that we see here is that this is someone who has been using this land for quite a long time, since the late 1800s, or early late 1800s, you might say, and for the simple use of cattle, animals grazing, nothing weird, nothing like, oh, he's doing nuclear tests out there. It's animals living on the land. And the scary element is that government uh, doesn't really treat anything like it is we the people, or like it is of the people. Government treats things as to um, ownership, you could say, of those who are in control, the elites. And that's what happens, is that those who are in political power use this land and these taxes and all this stuff they get from it for their own cronyism, for their own power, and ultimately impoverishing everybody else, because the amount of federal land is so great, and there are so many people out there who don't have homes, who can't afford to live in the home that they've been in, because of things that happen with the mortgage industry. There's all this land, all this beautiful landscape that people could be given, especially those who were hurt by the American government, Native Americans, those African Americans who were enslaved. There's so many people out there who uh, ought to be remedied from past harms to their family by the federal government, and instead, no, it's all kept off and not used and destroyed. And even to those people who are supposedly the benefactors of the federal government, um, those people are kept from being able to use this land for very natural purposes. And that's the insanity. The ultimate insanity is the doublespeak of public land, public goods. There's no such thing. The government keeps people from using it. It's really the elites controlling things on their timetable and for their crony interests. There isn't this like, oh, you're an American citizen, so you have a stake in this, or you get to use it. No, they use it for whatever they want, and they will rob and rape and murder and destroy for whatever interests they have in terms of controlling other people. And this is going to always continue. I mean, some people could talk about this from the UN perspective, Agenda 21. If you've never researched that, just look into it. Agenda 21 is basically a prescription document that cities could look at and adopt. But the real core of the plan is to put everybody, that is the majority of people, into small cities, and to force people to live closely together, and to control the environment, so that freedom is diminished, independence is diminished, individual sovereignty or the ability to be in that direction, go in that direction is diminished. So I hope that you take a look into the situation. This is not about, oh, he owes the American people money or taxes and, whatever. All that money, it's all getting blown up in Afghanistan and Iraq. All that money is nothing but debt. The U.S. government's far more in debt than what is brought in taxes. You couldn't even tax everybody 100% and make up for that debt as to what it is right now. It's all a ruse. It's all a ruse for those who are in control. That is those who do central banking. That is those who work with the military-industrial complex to further um, these global wars moving towards central government. But these, global created conflicts, the conflicts that are created by the pawns of those who are in power. That is really what is at the heart of these issues, is destroying individual liberty. So I hope you take note, and the small victory that happened is probably not going to be final. There'll probably be some more violence from the state against them, but you should definitely take note. All right, I'll talk to you guys, and stay safe.